Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Get Healthy brand webinar. I'm excited for this one because peptides are new, they're exciting. I'm seeing them everywhere. We have a very special guest, the owner of Healthgevity, Michael Antonelli. Now, I had been hearing about this brand. I got to see them live at the IHS show in New York in February. I didn't get to talk to them a whole lot because there were lots of visitors at the booth and I was making sure they got their time. But what I can tell you is that I'm seeing Healthgevity on a lot of my Get Healthy stores that I work with. And just a reminder that the whole line is available for you to add to yours. So our topic for today is when peptides matter most, the timing that changes outcomes. So this is beneficial for practitioners listening, so you can be sure how to implement these into your practice. So here's Michael. I'll let him introduce himself and his brand and teach you all you know about peptides.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to have the next hour or so with the Get Healthy community. It's fantastic technology. The practitioners that we talk to really enjoy how easy the Get Healthy team makes it. And we love it because it allows our formulas to get in your patient's hands no matter where they are. And whenever they are ready to order, they have the digital ability to do so. But this has been a topic that's been coming up more and more and getting requests. So we said, let's get this recorded so you can stream this on demand and dig deeper because the patient's waiting. We know that peptide education, peptide demand, peptides elevating protocols, these are all emerging themes that are growing and being validated. If you are new to Healthgevity, we are 3 years young. I started this company. I have 20-year history in the nutraceutical world, working for some of the top brands in various positions. But during COVID, like so many of us, saw healthcare fail so many people we love, saw aging and its correlation connection to chronic disease, and saw the emergence of peptides. And a lot of the practitioner brands were ignoring the role of harnessing the hallmarks of aging and truly zeroing in and focusing on health span optimization. So here we are, Healthgevity, 30 formulas. We have the largest variety of oral peptides in the practitioner channel. And we're going to spend time today diving into how to utilize these peptides in your current protocols, when to tag them in, because they are truly difference makers. I wanted to also start here, kind of level the foundation. Healthgevity is here to harness those hallmarks of aging. Every formula is going to impact one or more of these. David Sinclair, one of the leading longevity researchers, has talked about if we could focus on at least one of the hallmarks, we're going to slow down aging as we know it. And eventually, if we can harness all hallmarks of aging, we'll stop aging as we know it. Now, that may not be your goal to live to 150. My goal personally is to just maximize every single day we have the privilege of waking up alive and lean on therapies and solutions that will make a difference to maximize that process. We also have the Healthgevity Institute. We're tagging and highlighting that peer-to-peer connection, different mentors, different practitioners on the front line that are looking at and translating the latest research into clinical care and from patient assessment to the solutions. These are some of the topics we're hitting on and some of our faculty and advisors. The link is vimeo.com/betterhealth if you're interested in any of this or a deeper dive on what I'm here to share. So getting back to the health span versus lifespan, and more importantly, the state of America. So you're already in a better position than many of your peers because you're taking time out to learn about this topic with me today. So again, thank you for doing so. And we're off to the races. So what's a peptide? Peptides are amino acid chains, 2 to 40 amino acids. So amino acids, peptides, and proteins, short chains, bioactive, natural, or can be pharmaceutical, right? The most popular peptides currently are insulin and GLP-1s. But we're going to talk about some other emerging peptides that you should consider for your dispensary immediately. But there's some really great advantage of considering peptides. The safety standpoint, the utilization, the absorption, and fast acting for a variety of different conditions. Safety profile. Let's dig into this more, right? We see peptides in a variety of injections, nasal spray, topical creams, oral, strips. There's so many things happening now. And it's because a lot of the researchers and frontline providers are seeing how many patients are benefiting and how well tolerated they are in clinical care. So we're going to really narrow in on the power of peptides during this webinar topic. Now let's talk about oral peptide administration. So we talk about heightened convenience and compliance, which oral peptides will do, improve bioavailability, right? We're seeing there's emerging technology, and we'll touch on some of this today on technology enhancers or permeability enhancers that are helping make oral peptides an option where years ago they weren't being considered. Reduce the risk and side effects, patient compliance, especially those peptides that need to be done every day. A lot of patients don't want to lead with the needle or don't have the ability of or wanting injecting themselves every day. And so we're seeing this surge of oral peptides, especially as more and more human studies are becoming published, which we're going to touch on many of those peptides with human evidence today. So I wanted to group peptides that we're going to be talking about into three phases because this is one of the most common questions is Michael, either a patient's asking me about peptides or I went to a conference, I listened to a webinar, I want to integrate this, but where do I start? And many of you that are listening, you're not new to supplements. You already are doing something. So where does this fit in? So I like to say we have this broken down into three phases: foundational healing, enhanced health, and optimized performance. We're going to lead off with the hammer, BPC 157. It's very hard to listen to podcasts, go on Reddit, talk about patients. This is one of the most well-known peptides. BPC 157 can be injected, it can be done orally, it can even be done topically. But this was one of the first peptides done orally when many peptides were only available through compounding pharmacies. And we've seen this shift over the last couple of years, right? The FDA getting more involved, bringing more clarity to the 503A compounding list. And many of these peptides, not all, have shifted to supplement status if they could be done orally. So BPC, I felt, was a really meaningful peptide to start with, discovered in 1993. It is occurring in stable and gastric juice. This is not gastric juice derived BPC though. This is a mimetic that's matching the 15 amino acid chain. You're also going to see some BPCs claim acetate versus arginate salt. Our BPC is bound with the gold standard of oral utilization, which is the arginate salt bound BPC 157. Here I wanted to really highlight four variety of studies. You go on the PubMed right now, you plug in BPC 157, you're going to see a few hundred studies, mostly animal models, not enough human studies, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But here's very four different influences that BPC is being seen. In preparation for this webinar, I actually just found a breakthrough study that was published just a few weeks ago. And you'll see here stable peptide, a stable BPC 157 is what is referred to as the arginate salt stabilized BPC. But this is really a nice summary on its wide-ranging properties of why it's helping the body facilitate a better healing response, a better natural response to the insult, to the damage. And if so, here's a study if you want to dig in deeper at a later date, and the summary from where we're seeing it originate from, and then some of the therapeutic areas where in the data it's showing the most influential impact. And so we drill that down a little bit even deeper, right? Immune modulating, cytoprotective, modulating nitric oxide, this whole gut-brain axis. It's an incredible peptide that works systemically. So you're going to hear some people talk about they were on this for an injury, better recovery, leaky gut. This is one that really you could flex into a lot of different parts of your protocols. So Dr. Kathleen O'Neill Smith, one of our advisors, coined this peptide as the Swiss Army knife of peptides. And here's a little bit more of what it's doing and how it's working. Now, drilling down to the goal today is what are those protocols that can best benefit? Anybody on a PPI is a perfect place to start. But with this formula, this peptide, you can look at a lot of areas that I've coined into this 5 steps of target. Number one, athletes or weekend warriors or anybody active, accelerating recovery, reducing inflammation, especially inflammation caused by exercise, and then the recovery and joint mobility, all getting uh, bumped in here. For the providers that are on here, I do want to call out that BPC is banned by WADA, and that should only confirm that this is working and being a difference maker for some of the top healthiest active individuals globally. Number two, individuals with digestive issues. So we talked about leaky gut, tight junctions, IBS, IBD, Crohn's, colitis. This is going to be a peptide that is going to stand out and elevate any of your leaky gut protocols. Bucket number three is anybody recovering from an injury or surgery. This could be done even pre-surgery and prepping the body. And number four, those struggling with chronic inflammation and or autoimmune conditions. Last but not least, and you'll hear this a lot in the biohacking groups, right? Longevity, neuroprotection. BPC 157 is one that is very meaningful for this. So, when talking to patients, what I like to say is that BPC 157 is compared to the Roomba vacuum, that vacuum that moves around the floor searching for things to pick up and clean. And if there's nothing in a designated area, you'll see it moves around looking for things to pick up. That's what this peptide's doing in the body. It is searching and helping the body respond more favorably to the outcome that we want. Here's a C of A on peptides, especially BPC. This comes up a lot. You want to make sure that whoever you're using has the C of A also calling out and managing the arginate salt content. Because a lot of people are claiming arginate salt in their BPCs. They don't have the C of A to back it up. So just wanted to educate on what to look for and questions to ask. What you'll see several of our peptides contain in the fact panel here at Healthgevity is saccharosate sodium. This was an ingredient that was introduced to me in 2016, and it is a difference maker. It was there really to help shuttle peptides that had to be injected for it to be utilized into an oral option. So this is one where we're seeing chaperoning poor absorbed, low bioavailable peptides into an oral format. Even though BPC 157 already had great utilization orally, we enhanced that with the inclusion of saccharosate sodium. It is GRAS approved through the FDA, so generally regarded as safe. And you'll see this also be used on the pharmaceutical side with turning GLP-1s from an injectable into an oral, utilizing high dose saccharosate sodium. Another area that we tacked into in joining the power of BPC 157 is PEA. Over 600 publications for PEA, and it's far more popular in Europe. It's starting to gain some momentum here in the US. The 600 studies supporting this, but it's really coined as a specialized pro-resolving mediator or a PRM. This is helping the body more efficiently respond to elevations of pain and inflammation, whether it's acute or chronic. So PEA as a functional filler has more purpose and will actually front load the patient experience. They'll feel this before BPC starts doing what it's doing. But mast cell, gut pain, and even the brain, this is something, if you're not utilizing PEA, especially in the micronized format, this is one to put on your radar and then bring it all together. So BPC 157 with PEA, with saccharosate sodium in the right ratio to be as therapeutic as possible, really maximizing every square inch of that capsule. We now want to introduce another peptide, one of my favorites, and it's KPV. This is a tripeptide. This is really unique. It's coined as an antimicrobial peptide. So think acebo, candida, pain. This is one where in the compounding pharmacy days, very popular to stack together with BPC. The only downside was practitioner cost to get this into patients' hands. We've really overcome that with getting the price down to a third of what it was due to our economies of scale. But this is one, when we think about its ability to modulate the immune system, the inflammation response, leaky gut again, tight junctions, LPS, zonulin. This is one that will continue to be a difference maker for your patients. Even head-to-head studies tackling candida with biologics and prescriptions, you'll see that KPV is standing on its own in terms of its antimicrobial and antifungal effects. So at Healthgevity, we have designed three different BPC 157 options. We have the standalone, we have it with PEA, 500 milligrams of micronized PEA, And then what I call the ultimate now, the inclusion of 500 micrograms of KPV. So you can look at this as good, better, best. We can open up the capsule, especially if the esophagus is the target, and then swallow the other capsule. This is going to be best, just giving best practices 1 hour away from food. And best practices will be 1 to 2 doses a day. And so, again, you have three options to add to your store on the Get Healthy platform. The PEA version and the KPV PEA also come in both 30 and 60 serving bottle counts. We also have KPV with PEA. So for those patients that you want to cycle off BPC for whatever reason, or you don't want BPC, we have a dedicated KPV PEA option also on the Get Healthy platform as a 30 and 60 count bottle. Again, with the saccharomyces sodium included, 1 hour away from food, 1 to 2 a day. When we think about leaky gut and talking about protocols, if you're looking at the Healthgevity portfolio, additional formulas to stack is going to be Prime Gut Health. That's our most popular formula. Serum bovine immunoglobulins at 1 gram, stacked with tributrin at 1 gram, 12 billion spore based probiotics that are DNA and ID verified, and astragalus all in one. We also have bioactive colostrum fragments and even bioidentical lactoferrin that you can all add to bigger protocols with BPC. And those are biorepair and immunorestore. Now, moving this on with peptides, we're going to talk about thymic peptides and how they are declining with age. And as they decline, we're seeing disease and its prevalence skyrocket. So we do know there's this correlation of thymic peptides and immune modulation. And we have a really unique formula that's highlighting this. So a few years ago, again, you'll see the FDA creating havoc with compounding pharmacies. They pulled orphan drug status on thymosin alpha 1. They also redefined peptides, so now it was 40 or below, and thymosin beta 4 at 43 amino acids was no longer able to be compounded. So researchers started looking at, where do we go from here? Enter in the thymic fragments. You'll see on the bottom right here different fragments. The 1 through 4 is what we're tapping into, 4 amino acids. It's the workhorse, it's orally absorbed, and it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting and the actives of why providers like you were using thymosin beta 4 in the first place. So here we're looking at its ability, really honing in on antifibrosis, modulating inflammation, anti-apoptosis, but really the thymic peptides for protection, for repair, and for regeneration. So the TB4 frag, specifically the 1 through 4. Other companies you might see doing fragments, if you're not declaring the fragment, there is a possibility they will be utilizing the 17 to 23 fragment, which is here. And that is the fragment that will flare up mast cell. And so very important, we're utilizing a fragment, the 1 through 4, that not only has so much therapeutic value, but reduces or removes the concern about the mast cell flare up. The second component of what we added as a supportive cast is a bioregulator dipeptide called thymogen. And this is really unique. So Dr. Kavenstein, who has since passed away, one of the main researchers and discoveries of a lot of these peptides, specifically bioregulators, he's written a lot of papers, has a few books out, but thymogen was one that we were really attracted to for what we've outlined here. So its ability to bind to certain receptors, supporting TMB lymphocyte function, lymphocyte count, but enhancing immune resilience, especially coming out of what we've all have talked about so much, right? Long COVID. This is a really important formula to help regenerate, repair damage to the immune system. So also with thymogen, you're seeing here enhancing resistance to infections, supporting stress and anti-aging related immune decline, tissue repair, wound healing. And so the TB4 Frag 500 is a really unique combo where you're getting the thymogen here with the TB4 1 through 4 Frag. And again, the immune system connected with geroprotection. This is one you can use in all your immune protocols, autoimmune, 500 micrograms of each with the saccharomyces sodium, lime, mast cell, any of those chronic infections, and also for prevention. So those patients you're thinking about, they're getting sick, they're getting better, they're getting sick again, those roller coaster patients, this could be something you can use short term, long term. A lot of these peptides that we've outlined so far, the BPCs, the KPVs, the thymic peptides, really 30 to 90 days should be all you need. Then you could reassess. You can stay on it at a lower dose, cycle it 5 days on, 2 days off, or reinvest this money in other services. I mean, this is really, again, high level peptide therapy to open up options that will help your patients achieve the goals and open up where you go from there in the journey. Next, we're going to talk about DNF10. So we're going to hit on satiety peptides. Now, this is really unique. This is fermentation of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, multiple human studies in an area that every practice we talk to, weight loss resistance, glucose disposal, insulin, this is things you're seeing every single day. And peptides are really unique at managing and helping support the communication network at the root cause of metabolic dysfunction. So DNF10 is one of those peptides that is modulating leptin and ghrelin and over time really hitting on the mechanisms responsible for satiety. The study that we're tapping into at 500 milligrams by week 8 over 130 participants saw a reduction in calories consumed at 600 calories. So, for those that are looking for an overnight wonder, this isn't going to be for you, but for patients that are committed to a program. And if you look at a lot of the lifestyle modification studies, it's usually over 12 weeks anyway. But to be on DNF10 by week 8, you'll see here where you're seeing its greatest impact in really controlling some of those satiety mechanisms. But this is one where you just got to play around with the time of day because we're going to talk about best practices and giving it time for it to modulate and really hit on calories consumed, the GLUT4, helping activate AMPK and reduction of fat mass. Now, how we're using DNF10 at the 500 milligrams, we've added in a exercise mimetic and helping burn more calories with L-BETA and grains of paradise. We have bitter melon here, Inu Slim and Actoponin for GLUT4 and AMPK activation, and Glucovantage, the dihydroberberine. If you haven't heard about the dihydroberberine, 5 times more absorbed, double the half-life, no GI issues. So it is the next level of berberine. Uh, Maybe its own webinar at a later date would Get Healthy. Next up, we're going to talk about the role of AI-discovered peptides. And this is really where it gets excited in seeing the shift in future of peptide discovery. We were the first to market a incredible collaboration on the research side with a group out of Ireland called Noritas. Over the last decade, Noritas has developed a magnifier computer program that is utilizing nature as a way to discover peptides that are naturally occurring in plants and vegetables and fruit. And to date, they have cataloged over 8 million peptides. With the predictor and utilizing AI as a facilitator, 80% precision with clinical efficacy, over 50 patents issued, and we now have 3 peptides we brought to market with some unique activity on things you're seeing every day in the practice. So this is really, really unique. Again, peptides occurring in nature. We're going to start with muscle health, targeting what I feel is so easily to overlook. Age-related muscle loss, immune-related muscle loss, whether you're even on prescriptions, right? Statins, GLP-1s, weekend warriors, and anybody that is looking to strengthen recovery and workouts. So PeptiStrong, we launched this. There was no human studies yet. We had some sneak peeks. We have this in 2 different formulas we'll outline, but now 3 human studies published. And what's really unique here is showing strength, recovery, and energy. And we'll highlight this. This has outperformed milk-based peptides for activating muscle protein synthesis and really helping modulate fast and slow twitch muscle fibers. And we look here at what it's doing and how it's doing it. So 2 times the energy. And here we're looking at 17 days reviewing it. So you're seeing it doesn't take months to see great results with PeptiStrong. Better energy output, more reps. That's what we're seeing here. Double the power. So putting up more weight, important, right? That's where we're seeing it work with the skeletal muscle. And then better recovery, reducing fatigue, which gets us back on the field, back in the gym, back out there walking, moving more efficiently. So, in summary, 2.4 grams, that is the study dose. The goal here, boosting muscle protein synthesis, reducing muscle breakdown, and decreasing exercise-induced inflammation. This has been one of the most dynamic peptide discoveries because it's really setting the stage and the blueprint for additional peptide discovery, which we'll outline that we've since come out with. So the summary here, more strength, more power, more efficient recovery. This is the third study that we were waiting for. And the nice thing here, it showed in 56 days was a 1% increase in bone density. So really heightening that importance of building that strong base with the skeletal muscle connection. We also have identified in some in vitro work some additional synergies, creatine, leucine, even HMB and whey protein. So this PeptiStrong can be utilized in a variety of different ways and protocols, and it could be what you're already doing in your practice. The next piece and next discovery is ACE inhibiting peptides. And you might have heard about the amyl peptide. We're going to talk about PeptiPump, which is another peptide discovered through Noritas. But functional foods and what's happening on a pharma side, transitioning and translating into the nutraceutical world, super exciting. But lactotripeptides, modulating blood flow, blood pressure, vascular function, that's the name of the game here. And we're also seeing published studies on the role of lentils and lentil-derived peptides specifically. So cardiometabolic activity, blood flow into the muscle, this is all happening with lentil-derived peptides. Additional studies confirming the role of legume-based peptides. Really, really exciting here as far as its ability. And the takeaway with this study is reducing cardiovascular disease progression and bioactive peptides activating novel pathways for cardiovascular disease prevention. So PeptiPump, lentil-derived peptides through Noritas, outperforming the amyl peptide, which was the gold standard previously. And we have utilized PeptiPump and PeptiStrong together in a couple of formulas, which we'll get to. So in summary, we're seeing ACE inhibition and why that's important, but also optimized circulation. We'll talk about, right, the glycocalyx and the vascular flow for muscle gains, but also its role in cardiovascular prevention. So formula number one that you can add into your store is PeptiStrong, 2.4 grams of PeptiStrong in the formula longevity. PeptiPump at the study dose of 200 milligrams. Synactive, which is Panax nonoginseng, along with ginsenoside RG1 to reduce senescent cell burden within the muscle and get rid of those zombie cells that are not that aren't apoptosing. And then estrogen, the ginsenoside RB1 to bring together the gut muscle connection. This will be your capsule alternative or option for PeptiStrong. For those looking for PeptiPump and a more focused vascular aging NAD decline type product, cardio NAD with the NAD3 with niacinamide, healthy dose of collagen peptide bound CoQ10, Fitnox for nitric oxide, Fucoidan for the glycocalyx, the PeptiPump, and also nanokinase. And now we're going to also bring in another peptide, brand new peptide that we're announcing on the Healthgevity platform. We are the first healthcare practitioner brand with dileucine, which is a dipeptide form of leucine. There are some absorption concerns with leucine, although it's still the gold standard for muscle protein synthesis and in many workout formulas and post-workout formulas and protein powders. But leucine has now been redefined. And this is the next generation approach. Really, really excited. When I read about this a few years back, we worked directly with the research team that has secured all the patents on dileucine. And globally, this is one of the I would say, ingredients that are being most talked about on the supply side. So dileucine is occurring in a variety of protein sources, but at a very, very low amount. So you would need, as you're seeing here, 159 grams of whey protein concentrate and 200 or 219 grams of pea protein to yield the 2 grams of dileucine that we're putting in each serving. What's really fascinating here in some of the studies that have been done so far on dileucine is supporting enhanced muscle protein synthesis, superior strength and performance improvements, especially head to head with leucine, improved leucine bioavailability and retention, so supporting the utilization quicker and longer half life, and supporting better recovery. So here you're seeing some of the dileucine clinical evaluation that caught our eye. Very hard to have head-to-head superior outcomes when you're talking about anything compared with leucine. That's why you'll see a lot of ingredients not studying compared to leucine, but other options. But this is what's exciting about dileucine as a superior option to all you who are looking for better gains. So here we're seeing just a sample of the potential with just a standalone dileucine, better strength, more leg press and strength, and then leg press reps to failure. Leucine alone showed no change in many of these areas. So in terms of the studies, you'll see a lot of the references here all coming here in the last couple of years. So this is one of the most newest ingredients, again, only found in the practitioner world through longevity at this point. Increase of muscle protein synthesis, dileucine stimulating greater muscle protein synthesis when compared to leucine. This is one, if it's not on your radar, you should absolutely be looking at incorporating dileucine into your protocols. And we've made it easier. You'll see the first ever dileucine PeptiStrong creatine glutamine taurine powder. This is unflavored, no fillers, no sweeteners, simply raw materials blended together that you can use as a base to enhance any other beverage of choice. Your protein powder, your smoothie, your fruit and veggie mix, your bulletproof coffee, all these things that you're consuming, this could be in there, and you can use this whether it's a full serving at once or splitting the serving half scoop twice a day, pre-workout, post-workout, AM, PM. This is going to be one that has just been added to the Get Healthy store that you can add in immediately, and it will be an absolute difference maker for anybody conscious about the quality of how they're aging, their bone health, their muscle health. Definitely check out Prime Strength. The last peptide we're going to end with, and an important one, is sleep. This is another Healthgevity exclusive in the practitioner world and a Healthgevity exclusive on the Get Healthy platform. We're introducing PeptiSleep through our partner Noritas. This is really, really unique. Sleep continues to come up because without sleep, everything else we're doing is not going to be optimized, not be as effective. This we're seeing some really unique, not only helping the body get to sleep, but lengthening every phase of sleep with just this peptide. So the target of sleep onset, sleep maintenance, deep and REM sleep, and even the reduction of grogginess the next day. So here we are, 250 milligrams. This is a rice-derived uh, peptide 30 minutes before bed and really helping modulate things like cortisol and getting the body in a more deeper, restful sleep. So, a clinical study was performed in Australia looking at the Aura Ring as a way to track sleep from night one and really, again, seeing extensions in every phase of every phase of sleep and looking at the Aura Ring as a way to confirm that this is not only working on night one, but continues to get better the more you're utilizing it. Sleepgevity is the formula you're going to see PeptiSleep be featured in. Dihydrohinochiol, DHHB, is in there at 15 milligrams. Helixer Holy Basil, multiple human studies there, is also in here. A GABA stimulating probiotic, which is incredible, multiple human studies there at 5 billion. Saffron, and the PeptiSleep. So in summary, we're looking at sleepgevity, great for stress reduction. So if you're stressed, wired, and tired, this will help the body quiet your mind and get to sleep, but then also extend deep, restful sleep. Here's the formula. This comes in a 30 capsule and a 60 capsule bottle. This can be also the tryptophan is in here. We didn't hit on that in a healthy dose of a great adaptogenic L-theanine. So in summary, you have BPC 157, you have KPV, thymosin beta 4 frag 1 through 4, thymogen, PeptiSleep, PeptiStrong, and also PeptiPump. And last but not least, DL185, which is the dileucine peptide. These are already through Healthgevity available on your Get Healthy store. This is a really nice summary, but at any time, if you're listening, you have questions, you can reach out to anybody on our support team. You can email us, or you can request a one-to-one practitioner call with somebody on our team. So that is going to wrap us up with Healthgevity, the role of peptides, optimizing timing. And again, thank you for the invitation. Love our Get Healthy partnership. Michael Antonelli, the founder and CEO of Healthgevity, and I'll turn it back over to you.
That was very educational. A lot of great things said about Get Healthy as well. So thank you for that. I just want to highlight a couple key points of things that you said. I know you covered so much in your slides and in this webinar, but I mean, you have over 20 years experience in the nutraceutical industry. You started this company just over 3 years ago. You've built over 30 formulas. You are one of the only brands that have some of these ingredients available. I know you mentioned BPC 157 a lot. It's the most well-known. Um, I just think that with what you showed us today, the convenience and compliance is very high. The improved bioavailability with the oral peptides. I know so many people have been hearing about the injectables. But when you have this as another option, the convenience of it, more likely to comply. That sounds like a home run to me. What I thought was really funny was your Roomba example. It's a good way to picture it, kind of going around and, getting to the areas where it's needed. Just getting it to work in the body was really cool. So I enjoyed that a lot. You showed lots of studies from PubMed and clinical trials. So just overall, really impressive formulas. I've seen some of them that had trademarked ingredients straight down the ingredient list. That hits home to me. I'm a big fan of the trademarked ingredients. So I just want to say kudos to you and the formulas you've created. So that's really great to see.
I appreciate that. Yeah, one thing we're trying to really do here is do the heavy lifting for the practitioners that trust us to do that, right? We're always looking at ways to translate the latest research into finished formulas that put the patient outcome first. We pride ourselves on research partnerships with trademark ingredients globally. And for many of the ingredients that are in our products, we're either first to market or have exclusivity in the practitioner channel to make sure that the stacks we're utilizing are really going to be most meaningful because they're modulating multiple pathways in the body to get to the root cause, to get to the outcome that the practitioner and their patients seek. So thank you for that summary. And again, there's so many great ways to deliver health, and we just are grateful for the opportunity that Healthgevity can play a role in your patient's journey under your care.
Yeah. And so for those of you with a Get Healthy store, you can go ahead and search for this in your new product search. Add the whole line of products to your brand. You can select the ones that Michael discussed today, but that whole brand of over 30 formulas is available to you. You can add some of these into the Vitaboom stacks. So that's really cool to have the custom pill packs with selected dosing. That is really huge. If you don't know about that, please reach out to me or Andy, your other account manager, if you have any questions on that or want to learn more about customizing peptide protocols for your patients. We even have some that have been created by other practitioners on our staff. or within Get Healthy that I know a lot of people that I have shown them to have really been excited about them and asked if they could borrow that. So if you need some help, please feel free to reach out to me or Andy, and we can go through all of that with you. But again, Michael, thank you so much for everything today. And I hope you all enjoyed the info.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day.